WWE No Way Out 2012 pay-per-view review. The pay-per-view just went out there a little while ago. As far as my thoughts on this pay-per-view from WWE, this show turned out a whole lot better than what I was expecting. Going into this show, I was expecting this to just be a typical WWE throwaway pay-per-view, a decent show at best, nothing too special, but it turned out way better than what I was expecting. You had a very good opener with Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler for the World Heavyweight Championship, so really good way to start the show off. Really enjoyed Cody Rhodes and Christian for the IC Championship. A whole lot better than last month. Last month, Cody Rhodes and Christian had a fairly good match, but it was a little bit disappointing. I was expecting much more from it. This month, they delivered. It was a great match. Really enjoyed it a whole lot. And one match that basically just got added at the last minute that was really good was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. #1 contendership shot for a future tag team title shot. That was really good. And the one match I think a lot of people were very skeptical of going into this show of how it was going to turn out was the triple threat match, Kane versus CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Obviously, you got CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, two of the best wrestlers in the world, so you were going to get something good out of them, but I think a lot of people, and I thought as well, going into the show, that Kane was going to ruin this match. Kane actually didn't ruin it. They booked him fairly well in the match. He wasn't involved in it too much. And I think they did a good job of at least teasing that it looked like he was going to win towards the end of the match. And, AJ's involvement, I think, made perfect sense. They didn't overly, get her involved too much. And the end of it made perfect sense. And, CM Punk retaining it the way he did. So really good triple threat match right there. Like I said, it was booked perfect. The only thing that was bad on here was you had a few matches I could have dealt without. Like the Tuxedo match was terrible. I think everyone expected that. Divas match was piss poor. Ryback, you just got your typical squash match. And then the main event, I think everyone knew it was going to be pretty much like what it turned out to be. Big Show and Cena in a cage match. It actually was at least watchable for the most part, but then it turned into a complete clusterfuck at the end. I'll get into my thoughts of that when I get to that part of the show. But like I said, this show was a whole lot better than what I was expecting. So you had at least 3-4 good matches on this show. The opening matchup, they did a pre-show match on this pay-per-view. It was Brodus Clay versus David Otunga. Not much of a match. Wrestled for about 5-6 minutes and it ended in a count out. So they actually kind of gave it a little more time than some pre-show matches they have done, and it just ends in a count out with Brodus Clay winning via count out after David Otunga gets counted out. At best 1 star. Then the pay-per-view starts. The opener was Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was a really entertaining match. The crowd was really behind Dolph Ziggler. The crowd was great the whole entire night, in my opinion. Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus did some good stuff, good back and forth action. Saw a lot of good mat wrestling in this. Just a very good opener, and hopefully they keep on pushing Dolph Ziggler, because I think he's one of those guys that needs to be in the main event picture, and he's a great performer. Crowd loves him as well. And Sheamus wins this match after hitting the Brogue Kick to Dolph Ziggler to retain the World Heavyweight Championship in a very good opener. 3.5 stars in my opinion. About 3 1/4, 3.5 stars. Next matchup was Santino Marella versus Ricardo Rodriguez in the Tuxedo Match. Nothing much to say here. As it turned out as terrible as what you expected. The one thing I gotta say about it, at least it didn't go too long. They did keep it as short pretty much as possible as they possibly could have kept it. Santino wins this. Dud. Terrible match. But I think everyone expected that. Next matchup was Cody Rhodes versus Christian for the IC title. This match right here was the match that I was expecting to see between these two at last month's pay-per-view. I think everyone expected, last month's pay-per-view match between them, which actually was a good match, but it was a little bit disappointing, and I was expecting much more from it. This month, they delivered great action. Just loved the match. One of the matches that I think everyone needs to check out on the show. Not Dolph Ziggler, but Cody Rhodes and Christian had an incredible match for the IC Championship. Christian wins this match after hitting the spear. They did a lot of good counters, reversals in this match. Christian was going for the kill switch. Cody Rhodes reversed it and then gets hit with the spear. Cody Rhodes loses this match with Christian hitting the spear at the end. Really entertaining match, 3.5, maybe even 3 3/4 stars. One of the most entertaining matches of the night, in my opinion. Then the next matchup was a match that just pretty much just got added not that long before the pay-per-view. This was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the winners to become the #1 contenders for the tag team titles and get a shot in the future. This was Primo and Epico versus Titus O'Neil and Darren Young versus the Usos versus Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel. This was a really good match. The only thing that I hated about it was the outcome of it. You saw great stuff with Tyson Kidd in there. The Usos got in their stuff. Not much of a fan of Epico, but Primo is very good. So when he was in there for his team, you saw some good stuff. And just a very entertaining tag match, I thought. Really, the only bad team you had in there was Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, which unfortunately that was the team that actually picked up the victory in the match. Darren Young pins Epico to win this match, about a 3 1/4 star match. Very good tag match, though. The only thing, like I said, that was the bad part of it was the outcome of Titus O'Neil and Darren Young winning it. But other than that, it was a good tag match and really enjoyed it. Up next was Triple H coming out there making an announcement. Obviously, everyone knew what this dealt with, Brock Lesnar. And comes out there, pretty much what you'd expect with your typical Triple H promo. Basically, challenges Brock Lesnar for a match, and it's obviously going to be taking place at SummerSlam, so that's when Brock Lesnar and Triple H don't know when Brock Lesnar is going to make his on-screen return. Possibly, if they want to make the Raw, that's going to be when their first Raw, when it's going to be 3 hours every week, July 23rd. They're trying to build that up as big as possible, so maybe Lesnar returns there. The only thing I think they should have done here with this Triple H announcement and promo, they should have at least done 1 or 2 things. Paul Heyman should have came out there, been involved or something, or they should have done something where Lesnar's music played, at least teased him coming out there, Triple H not knowing what was going on, and then him not come out there, but they should have at least teased him coming out there. I thought that would at least made the segment a little bit better. Then the next matchup was Beth Phoenix versus Layla for the Divas title. This was a very sloppy women's match. I'm a huge fan of Beth Phoenix. Layla, she looks good, but as far as a women's wrestler, she is not that good. She was very sloppy in this match, missing a lot of things. Just not that good of a women's match here. Layla, unfortunately, retains the title here, retaining the Divas Championship. At best, 1 star. Next match was Hunico versus Sin Cara. Kind of like the Triple H announcement, this was a match kind of to fill up some time for the show. Actually, this was pretty watchable, I gotta say. I've seen matches with Hunico and Sin Cara. They've wrestled each other a lot, and a lot of times it's been terrible or not that good. This time it was at least watchable, and Hunico actually, for a change, didn't actually look too bad. Sin Cara wasn't too sloppy in there, so it actually wasn't too bad of a match with them. And Sin Cara picks the victory up in that match. About 1 3/4 star match, at least a watchable match. Like I said, more or less a match that was just filler, just something to fill some time for the show. Next matchup was the triple threat match. This was Kane versus Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship. Now, this match right here, going into it, I was very worried about how it was going to turn out because obviously you got CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, 2 of the best workers in WWE and probably 2 of the best workers in the world at this moment. So, with them 2, they can have great stuff with each other, but I was really worried that Kane was going to ruin this match, but WWE booked it in a very smart way. Kane was involved in this match, but he was not involved that much. A lot of the match was just Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, and the parts where Kane got involved, Kane was doing pretty good. And so it was an enjoyable match right here. And the end of the match comes when AJ comes out there. She's on the ring apron. CM Punk slams Kane into the ropes. Kane basically accidentally knocks AJ down to the floor. Then CM Punk hits the go to sleep to Kane in here to retain the WWE Championship. So CM Punk is still the champ. CM Punk is still the WWE Champion. Very, very good match. A lot of great stuff in here, and a whole lot better than it turned out. Way better than a whole lot better than what I was expecting. I would probably give it 3 1/4, 3.5 stars, 3 3/4 stars. It was a really good match. Turned out a whole lot better. Then after this, Kane picks up AJ, carries her to the back, and then AJ's smiling back at Punk in the ring. So at next month's pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, I don't know if we're going to get another triple threat, the same triple threat here, or are we just going to get a singles match with Kane and CM Punk? So we'll just have to see, where this leads to on Raw and up until Money in the Bank. But this was actually a fairly good match. It turned out a whole lot better than what I was expecting. Good triple threat. Then the next matchup was basically a Ryback squash match. Ryback just comes out there, squashes two guys, does what he always does. You know, it's at least entertaining to see him come out there and just, you know, pretty much throw two guys around and just destroy them. So it is what it is, you know, as short, you know, real short, comes out there, squashes them, you know, about 1 star at best if you want to even give that match a rating. Then the main event was Big Show versus John Cena in a cage match. Now, the stipulation for this match was if John Cena lost this match, John Cena would get fired, and if Big Show lost this match, John Laurinaitis would get fired. So it was whatever the outcome of this, someone was going to get fired. WWE's doing this, you know, fired angle a little too frequently. You know, it's one of those things in wrestling that you want to do at least amount of times as possible. This is the 2nd month in a row they've done this, and John Cena, I don't know how many times over the years they have done fired angles with John Cena. This is probably like the 3rd or 4th time they've done a quote-unquote fired angle with John Cena. As far as this cage match, you know, it started off, you know, your typical Big Show and John Cena match. It was at least watchable, not too bad. But then it turned into a complete clusterfuck at the end of the match. And what I mean by this, out of nowhere, for whatever reason, Brodus Clay comes out there. Now, before Brodus Clay comes out there, Vince McMahon went to the cage door, opened it up, was telling Cena, get out, get out. Then Laurinaitis attacked Vince McMahon, knocked him into the cage, slammed the cage door into John Cena, knocked the referee outside. Then Big Show knocked the referee out on the inside the ring. So the referee on the inside the ring and outside the ring was knocked down. Then Brodus Clay came out there, basically stopping Big Show from getting out of the ring with using a steel chair, threatening to use it on Big Show if he tried to, you know, step out the door. And then, you know, after this, it got even more random than Brodus Clay. Then you saw Alex Riley and Santino Marella come out there. Zack Ryder came out there. Zack Ryder got a huge pop out when he came out. Big Show, he tried to climb up the cage. Big Show basically did the KO punch against the cage, knocked him down, and then just, you know, then after that, Brodus Clay was outside the ring, basically got distracted, went over to Laurinaitis to basically, you know, say don't get involved in here. Big Show looks like he's about to, you know, not climb out of the cage, but crawl out of the cage door. John Cena was at the top. John Cena happened to get out of the cage before Big Show, so John Cena wins this cage match. So with the angle, John Laurinaitis is fired. Obviously, this, you know, Laurinaitis angle is going to go for a little bit. They'll go with the whole worked idea that he got fired, and they'll probably end up having him back on TV pretty soon. Probably do something at SummerSlam, because the way this match seemed, I hope we don't see it, but it seems like, you know, if they do something where Laurinaitis is off for a little bit, then comes back, I wouldn't be shocked, you know, at SummerSlam if we see, you know, Vince McMahon and John Cena team up, take on Big Show and Laurinaitis. Hopefully I'm wrong, because if it's like anything like this match in last month's pay-per-view, it's just going to be another terrible match for a pay-per-view. And really the only thing that was real bad on the show was the main event, just basically because of how it was booked. Other than the booking and it turning into a clusterfuck, it actually was at least a watchable match, but, you know, at best I'd give it 1 3/4 stars. Just, you know, your typical, you know, match, your match you probably expected it to turn out to be. It wasn't. It was what it was. You know, you knew you weren't getting anything good. Kind of like last month's pay-per-view with Laurinaitis and John Cena. Just WWE needs to make sure that they put on a good match on as the main event, which they have not had a title match in the main event of a pay-per-view since TLC, and that was back in December. So hopefully at Money in the Bank we get a title match in the main event. Maybe, you know, have the triple threat once again, since it worked out this time. Have, you know, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Kane once again in the triple threat. Do something where the title match is the main event, or have a main event that at least seems worthy of being the main event. You know, like Rock and Cena. Makes sense, you know, that being the main event and not the world title. Or something like Lesnar and John Cena. Something that's really big that makes sense of, you know, 1 month you're not having a title in the main event, but you need to have your title in the main event, because that's one of your big things in your company. I mean, that's the one thing WWE needs to do, is get the world title in the main event. Because CM Punk's been having great matches as champion, just they haven't put him in the main event. So maybe next month we'll finally get, you know, the title in the main event of a pay-per-view. As far as the show overall, Like I said, you had a few weak things on it, but you had at least 3 or 4 good matches. Both title matches was good. The tag team match was good, and Cody Rhodes and Christian was really entertaining. So you had 4 very good matches right there. Main event was what it was. You knew it was going to be terrible. So overall, I'll probably give this show about 7.5, maybe even 7.75, because you had a lot of good things on here. So it's a show that I would say go out. I would somewhat recommend this show because there was more good on this show. The good outweighed the bad, in my opinion. So yeah, that's it for my WWE No Way Out 2012 pay-per-view review. All right, peace.